it's Romy, Sagittarius. Welcome to my channel. This is your October 2021 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is the reading for you. And we're going to offer you some clarity. We're going to break down the energies and just help you to feel a little bit more empowered and able to trust yourself and some of the decisions and the ways that you're going to navigate through the next few weeks. So we're opening up your reading with the energy of the Emperor. And there's something about October, Sagittarius, where I feel you're going to be approaching something again, but this time you're going to get it right. So there is that review and opportunity to come at it from a place of new wisdom. Hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? And that belief that this version of you, the way that you've grown and evolved in the past few weeks, is really ready to take this on with a new sense of gusto. Now, we're into Libra energy, which is that 11th house for you. So there's a strong focus in and around communities, the friendships and connections that you have, and also your hopes and dreams. Now, with Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Libra, there's an opportunity to revisit this. And remember, Mercury is the planet of communication. So there's a new sacred soul language that is evolving for you. And the Emperor here is saying, let's take control, let's take charge, let's set a new strategy for ourselves. Let's be the captain of our own ship. And really, I guess the mantra I would want you to move through October with is that I'm going to do everything purposefully, intentionally, deliberately and soulfully. And I think if you can kind of really hold that as the vision for everything that you want to achieve, then you're not going to find yourself getting lost and wayward in the process of all of these energy jumps that are going to be taking place in October. Because the general theme that I'm picking up across all of the soul stories is one of connecting the dots, where a bigger picture is starting to emerge. And here we've got Temperance coming in, which of course links into your sign, Sagittarius. So we have this bigger picture emerging. And you may even find it a little bit difficult to wrap your head around it. I have that feeling of, that it's not confused, but maybe even a slight sense of feeling perplexed at how something is actually presenting itself to you at this moment. And so you have to kind of almost trust yourself, because you might not get all of the information, certainly in the first part of October. Because the other big thing that's going to be taking place this month, even though we have Mercury retrograde, is that we have a whole series of planets waking up from their slumber. So Pluto is going to be moving direct in Capricorn on the 6th. We then have Saturn shifting direct in Aquarius on the 10th and Jupiter going direct on the 17th. And so this really brings about these cosmic shifts, which can be a little bit upheavaling. And it's almost like that lurch forward, that move forward, where it can see tremendous progress happen in a really short period of time, but it also feels a little bit unexpected, and perhaps even highlighting something to you that wasn't even previously on your radar. But there's certainly more of a sense of you starting to see the outward physical manifestation of a lot of the internal soul work that you've been doing the last few weeks. Now, we talked last month about energy contradiction. We're going to welcome in a new moon in the sign of Libra on the 6th of the month, where it's conjunct with Mars and also trining the asteroid goddess Ceres, who's the goddess of harvest and nourishment. You've got the 10 of Pentacles here. There's something really beautiful and abundant that's coming in around this new moon energy that we really want you to capitalize on. It's about you feeling much more secure within yourself, and that means that you do have to shut out so much of the outside noise, because what you might find is that in one area of your life, and it might not be across the board, right, but one area of your life is really going to start to reveal something to you that feels positive and successful and validated. And when Ceres is in Gemini, the sign of Gemini, that nourishment, that harvest that she brings is about language, isn't it? It's about how we communicate, nurturing of the higher mind. And so this language of your soul is changing. And what you really should start to understand when we come into that new moon time, with the Emperor coming in here, and that sense of being assured of something, that 10 of Pentacles feeling grounded and emotionally secure and able to tap into new levels of abundant energy. Now, you may say to me, Romy, that is is not what's playing out on the outside of my life. When I look around, in terms of what's being mirrored back to me, what's being shown to me in the media, what's happening in some of my personal relationships. And, we're not here to argue that point. What we're here to say that is on an internal level, on a soulful level, that temperance is bringing in this state of balance. That's what Libra season and energy is about. It's about recognizing, where do I follow the light within me to that place that is not representative of the external scarcity, So your Five of Pentacles here is a reminder, there are two roads that we can take here in October, Sagittarius. And, if we're going to connect the dots and start to see this picture emerging, we've got to understand that our purpose is going to go beyond the opinion that other people have of us right now, or that we even have of them or of what's going on right now. It's bigger than you. And again, I think that's a mantra that you can hold true to if you're trying to keep yourself on track in relation to something. Now, we can't avoid being human. We can't avoid the natural responses that we experience on an emotional level when we observe and witness something, or we are on the receiving end of something. And yet in this 11th house activation in Libra season, a reminder of your hopes and dreams and what you are doing to align with them purposefully, intentionally, soulfully, day in and day out. Now, what we also want to say is, with this Five of Pentacles, Sagittarius, don't expose yourself this month. Don't expose your heart in places that you don't feel safe, to people that trigger you, to environments that don't speak your language, or feel like they embody the same values that you have. Talk to the people, connect with the energy, go to the environments that you're going to be able to amplify the goodness and the positivity of what you're already working on and what you already feel is emerging for you. Now, the positive shift that we have with Venus coming into your sign, Sagittarius, on the 7th of the month really helps you to remind yourself how much you value your freedom, and the way your set of values are changing right now. The Knight of Wands is coming in here and say it's time to get on the move. It's time to shift something and have a new vision for ourselves. It's an incredibly inspiring energy that is coming through with this Knight of Wands. Now, there's something about location being highlighted really powerfully. It may mean that you need to take your message elsewhere. You need to shift a platform. If you're on social media, it may be that you're looking at a physical house move or a change of environment in terms of your work. And even if you're having really important conversations from a relationship perspective, especially if you've been feeling outside, left in the cold, or having a sense of something being lost, remember, Mercury retrograde in Libra really puts an emphasis and a focus in and around relationships. And so what we're saying is, choose a different environment, move into a different energetic space, and then watch how that has an influence and impact in terms of how you communicate with one another. That's going to be one of the most important pieces of advice that I want to give you. Sometimes when we're in a specific space and we keep revisiting something, so if you're finding, that someone's close to you, whether it's on a personal or a professional capacity, and you just seem to not be able to get past that one issue or a series of issues, and you keep coming up this against this kind of brick wall. If we keep speaking in the same place, which is often the case, if we're at a place of work or within the home, that energy can be held there and it gets really, really stagnant, and it can almost become too fixed. And so every time we go back to sit in that seat or we go to that same place, we just default into the same pattern. So having a pattern interruption and changing it up, and the jolt forward that October is bringing on a whole is going to be really conducive for that, is going to enable you to start to have a conversation from a different place and access energies that are going to be more supportive for you. Okay, so be experimental in that. There's something about October, we said this at the beginning of the read, where you're going to do it this time and you're going to do it right. So you also have to kind of have this I'm planning for the future, at the same time almost concurrently I'm replaying my past to make sure that I'm not doing the things that were harmful to me in that particular period or that time. So you can't give up now. King of Pentacles here, 10 of Pentacles. There's an awful lot of real powerful divine masculine energy stepping forward here. This is not a time where you are going to shrink back. You know, we need you to be full of wonder. We need you to be full of wisdom. What you have right now is needed. So what is calling you? What is that part of you that says, oh, I need to step up because I know I've got something valuable to offer here, or I know I can do a better job here for myself or to support others. You know, and it's challenging, isn't it? Because if we feel that we are still dealing with some of the emotional wound energy of particular environments or situations right now, that Five of Pentacles suggests to me that there is something that you're carrying with you into October that kind of has you feeling, you know, a little bit extra sensitive. We have to really, we have to remind ourselves of where we're allowing ourselves to be loved and to be seen. And, you know, it's a lifelong endeavor, isn't it? But it is really the path to wholeness. And so we have to remember that. So there's something about the energy of October, I feel, for Sagittarius, King of Wands coming in here, more masculine energy showing up. There's something about this energy in October, Sagittarius, where I feel you are literally dealing with things simultaneously. The duality of situations is not going to be lost on you. This is part of where this picture is emerging, and it might feel a little bit perplexing. It's like, you know, I'm really dealing with something exceptionally sensitive and vulnerable right now, and yet over here I'm required to step up and activate this leadership energy within myself, you know, to demonstrate and lead by example and really have the courage of my conviction. There is something incredibly courageous, I feel, about the energy in October for you. You know, back to this mantra, you've got to do everything purposefully, intentionally, deliberately and soulfully. You also have to be very aware of what is not worth your energy. Now, as we make our way more deeply into October and we see Saturn shifting direct, there's a reminder of the endurance race that we have had to go through in that retrograde period. And we are now learning to put all of those things into practice and to do them in the right way. And there may be some loss and some grieving even that you've had to acknowledge as part of that process. And even as Jupiter, when it was retrograde, exacerbated or amplified anything that, you know, you really needed to be aware of, it was perhaps at times a really uncomfortable journey for you. And yet now they step forward with these gifts of new vibrational energies, a new philosophy, a new determined outlook. And there should be a gift that comes in with Jupiter, by the way. So if you have had a disappointment, even, you know, if it's in relation to this King of Wands energy, perhaps another fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or even somebody that showed a vision or presented a version of themselves or a possibility to you that you really bought into or you really felt was possible, and then it was, you know, your hopes were shattered, you know, something came crashing down around you. And I feel, like we said, this time is the time to do it and do it right. And that might mean that it's with a different person or a different project or a different job or in a different place. But it doesn't mean that a lot of the ideas that you'd attach to what that dream or desire felt like cannot actually be delivered to you, just in a slightly different way than you'd anticipated. But as we make our way to the full moon in Aries coming in on the 20th of the month, it's going to be opposing Mars and squaring with Pluto. So it's intense and fiery. It's going to be fiery. So you need to decide what isn't worth losing your energy over. You know, you don't want to lose time. You don't want to lose focus. You don't want to lose momentum. And you don't want to be swept up in this whole I'm right and you're wrong vibe. And, you know, you can see how it's playing out in the collective. So choose your battles wisely. Six of Swords suggests, like, take time to kind of withdraw and move away from anyone or anything that is trying to constantly trigger you to the detriment of you actually making significant movement forward in your own important goals and priorities through the course of this month. And as we move more deeply into October and we set into Scorpio season, of course, that's 12th house energy for you, and there's this deep, beautiful letting go and release. And your Six of Swords is indicating to you that you are moving away from something that has been really harmful. It has been a little toxic, and it has left you in this feeling of constantly believing that it's not enough. And perhaps that's hit heavy on your sense of self-value or worth. But, you know, you're going to be really clear about either the person, the individual, the place, the experience or situation that has been repeatedly a cause of this for you. So what we want to focus on is, again, how we are using this new beautiful sacred soul language that we have been nurturing and cultivating during these retrograde times. And Mercury will be direct from the 18th. So from that second part of the month, as we build our way towards the really powerful Samhain and Halloween on the 31st, where the veil is at its thinnest, you've got the support and the messages and signs coming through from those loved ones that have passed over, but also your guides and the astral the spirit world. You really want to be clear about, this is where I want to go. This is how I need to give myself permission to move forward. Now let's just take a look and see how these oracle cards are wanting to join the conversation for you. I want to say I feel like there's a really important person of influence coming through, and I think that they can really support you in this leveling up or kind of leapfrog sort of situation where you get to kind of increase almost like it's not just naturally and organically. I feel like there's some significant chances to actually it's almost like getting a promotion like two times higher than what you'd gone for, or like skipping a whole step. And that's okay, because that's where you're at. I don't feel like we need to take longer. We don't need to go back over things, because there's something about you doing it now and doing it right. So you've already got the hindsight, the past experience, the wisdom and the knowledge. So my question is, are you really seeing yourself at the table at that level right now? Or are you still kind of holding back a little bit and feeling like you need to follow that process of A to B to C to D? I feel like I want to take you from A to S right now. It's just like that amount of like shift, that's going to happen for you this month. Now your oracle card is milk and honey. Something about the sweetness here. It's beautiful. You've got your rainbow blessing coming in. We've got this elephant, of course, the indication of the wisdom here, enjoying itself beautifully in this milk and honey situation. And so something that you've created for yourself, that you've invested in, that you've manifested coming through for you this month. And we want you to take time to actually enjoy it. So make sure that you are not skipping out or kind of running too far ahead, that you're not allowing that state of presence to kind of really wash over you and let you celebrate the accomplishment and where you've got to. Because there's something for me about this energy in October, Sagittarius, that's about what you've done, what you've achieved. And even where there's been support and other people showing up to help you, you got to acknowledge where it's come from, the deep discipline and soulful commitment that you've made time and time and time again. And even in the recognition of who or what is now feeling toxic or no longer relevant in your life. And there is a sadness sometimes to that. I've literally outgrown this person. I think there's something about this feeling of you saying, I've outgrown them. I've outgrown this situation. I've outgrown this job. I've outgrown this place. And just having to kind of honor that. And sometimes, it feels like it should be a straightforward, simple process, and it isn't. It can be deeply complex sometimes because we have so many experiences and memories and emotions wrapped up. Now, of course, retrograde energy with Mercury and Libra especially can bring people back from the past. Yes, it's exes. Yes, it's, relationships that have had a significant impact on your life. There may be some karma that still needs to play out. And so there may be conversations that are going to take place that feel kind of icky and uncomfortable, or you're facing up to some truths about yourself or about versions of you in the past. But there's an awful lot of clearing that comes through with that as well. And again, around that full moon in Aries, just make sure your emotions don't get so heightened that you kind of pull yourself back into situations that are not serving you. So your Moonology card is a time for healing, balsamic moon, and I really feel that this newfound sense of courage and confidence and grounded energy that's coming through is giving you a clearer vision and sense of importance about what it is that's going to continue to sustain and nourish and nurture you. You know, we talked last month about energy contradictions, and you will have been working with these and seen them for what they were in your life and how they were impacting you. This is why you're able to now join the dot, Sagittarius. This is now the jolt forward, because you're now taking these bigger leaps in terms of timelines and working with the energy, using new language to support you in that endeavor. And again, this deep release time of Scorpio season allows for the rebirth and the transformation that's going to take you beautifully into your own solar returns in the coming weeks. Okay, you've got Lord Melchizedek. Again, this beautiful masculine energy coming through. Indecision, ego-based action, lifestyle change. What are you ready to completely overhaul through October? It's probably been on your mind for some time now, but there may be some aspect of what you do, of who you are, of how you move through the world and how you express yourself that's just ready for that powerful sense of transition. You also have 22 with a master number here. Let's pay attention to what comes in around the 22nd of the month. That's going to be just in between that full moon in Aries and then the sun moving into the sign of Scorpio. So letting go of Libra energy. And I think around that time you may well be getting some really significant, important signs. Mars moves into Scorpio on the 30th, which is really helping you to challenge yourself to do the impossible. And there's something about that. I think you've got this vibe quite strongly in October, Sagittarius. It's like you've got the bit between your teeth, and despite this, flowing energy that's sort of running alongside you, where you're carrying this wound or this trigger or this real sensitive subject matter that needs to be treated really nurturingly, compassionately, with kindness. At the same time, there's this rising sense of determination, this stoicism that you're saying, like, okay, now I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to do it right. And I do want to plan for my future. And I do want to know that it's going to be on my terms, based on my values. And I'm not going to get caught up with the he said, she said. It's a waste of your time and energy. Remember what I said, your purpose goes far beyond the opinion that other people have of you. It's bigger than you right now. So move into this month purposefully, intentionally, deliberately, and soulfully. And this is really going to keep you on track. Now, this is a general reading for the month of October, Sagittarius. If you'd like to join me for the extended version, I'm going to invite you to just think about a question that might not have come up in the main spread here. And we'll pull a couple of cards for us to cover off more specifically. Okay, let's now just clarify this main reading. So beginning with this Emperor energy, which of course links into the cardinal signs of Aries, Capricorn specifically. So you may well be dealing with energies of that nature. It's clarified with the Three of Pentacles, which I love because it's literally you gaining control and actually taking action here. Two of Wands. It's all in the planning and preparation this month. Look at this leadership energy coming through for you. Where are you being asked to step up? Temperance and the Fool coming in here. Hierophant. It's the way you're educating people, perhaps about what's changed for you, but also about things that you have experience of, that you can really add something of value to. That Five of Swords showing itself, I think it's again a reminder that we can't let one person or one situation be the thing that's going to hold us back from actually what we're destined for. King of Pentacles again coming in. May well be an earth sign as well that you're needing to address something really directly with, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Moon energy and the Hanged Man coming in. And again, that's that veil of confusion I feel that's being shown with some of the retrograde energies that are still permeating in that first part of the month specifically. Okay, Ten of Swords, Three of Swords. We'll get into a little bit more detail about what's going on with that. And another Temperance. Time. You need to give yourself time to move through something. a lot of these swords coming through, just a reminder that they really talk to us about our thoughts, the way that we are thinking. And as we are really creating and aligning with this new soulful, sacred light language, how to use it, what it means for us, how it changes our relationship to ourselves, to the world, to the people around us. We have to break things. Sometimes we have to break a process for the expansion to happen. That can feel uncomfortable. And I think some of these clarifying cards are really nodding to that experience. But we'll unearth some of these messages in the extended. Now you can find the link for that in the description box and the comment section underneath. Okay, Sagittarius, I am going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in for your October soul story. I wish you beautiful blessings for this month. If you've enjoyed, please do drop me a like and a comment. And be sure to check out your rising and your moon, or whatever the other signs are of the stories, just to give yourself a more complete picture of what this month can do. And check back in throughout the weeks in October, because more and more of this will start to make sense as the energies come into play and start to unfold for you. So thanks for being here. You take care. I'll see you soon.